Hello fantasy managers, and welcome back to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. In this video we're going to be having a look at the best FPL captain for game week 1. Let's get into it. Before we jump into it, I'm trying to hit that 25,000 subscribers before the game week 1 deadline. I'm getting really close now, so if you could please just hit that subscribe button and like the video if you do enjoy the content. That would really help me out. So how this video is going to work is that I'm going to have a look at the Fantasy Football Hub poll for captaincy, and then I'm going to move on to our massive data prediction model before finishing off with my own conclusions and who I'm going to captain for my own team. So make sure you stick around for the whole video. Okay, so I put a poll up on the main Fantasy Football Hub Twitter account. If you are interested in joining our £5,000 free entry cash league, completely free to enter, all you have to do is sign up to Fantasy Football Hub, free or paid membership, I should add. Then I'll leave a link in the description to that. You just got to see the details on our pinned tweet on exactly how to enter that. Moving down to our poll then, and as you can see, I only put this up 20 minutes ago, but nevertheless, it's got over 1,000 votes, so I still think that it is pretty relevant, and I don't see these results changing too much. As you can see, Aubameyang playing Fulham away from home, coming out on top with over 60% of the votes. Now, I can totally understand this reason. You know, Aubameyang is pretty much a flat track bully. He's got incredible numbers against the bottom 6 last season, and you know, I think that Fulham are going to be a bottom 6 club. He looked really good in the Community Shield. He looked really good towards the end of last season. I'm a big fan of Arteta, despite being a Spurs fan. I think that he's really got Arsenal in a good place. So I can definitely see the justification for an overwhelming majority of Fantasy Football Hub followers going with Aubameyang. Salah, on the other hand, does actually have a lot of things going for him. Leeds, I really rate them as a team. You know, I think they're going to be a very strong Premier League team. I would say, though, that, you know, they're used to dominate possession. They're used to doing a high press in the Championship. Liverpool are going to be a completely different kettle of fish for them. And I actually think that they might struggle in this game. You know, if Liverpool are playing a team which really sits back then and just defended the whole game, then they potentially could struggle to score goals. But Leeds aren't going to do that. I think they're going to try and play, you know, a high line. They're going to try and match Liverpool. And I think that potentially could be dangerous territory for Leeds. And I think there might be space in behind. And I think that Salah could be one of the players to exploit that. Do I think they're going to steamroller Leeds? Probably not. You know, I think that, as I mentioned, Leeds are a very good side, and Bielsa is a very good manager, and you know, I think that he will be aware of that potential situation. But you know, whatever Leeds do in pre-season, they're never going to be able to sort of match the intensity that Liverpool have. So I really do think there's actually quite a bit going for Salah. What's not going for Salah is he hasn't been playing well in pre-season. He didn't look particularly sharp in the Community Shield. I would say that Aubameyang probably looked a little bit fresher. But nevertheless, he's almost certainly going to be on penalties. He is playing at home, unlike Aubameyang, and I do think that that is an important factor. And I think that Liverpool could potentially score quite a few goals in this game, and I expect him to be involved. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Salah come back with a brace from this game. Just briefly touching on some of the other options, and I do think that, you know, there is merit in going some of the other ways. Personally, I'm not considering anyone apart from Salah and Aubameyang. You know, if you did want to go for example, for Trent Alexander-Arnold or Mane, you know, I can see arguments for going that way. And a lot of people go Mane. Werner, I think, is an interesting shout. You know, he should get a lot of space behind that high Brighton back line. I think that he could do very well in that match. Okay, switching over to the Fantasy Football Hub predictions tool. Now, this is powered by massive data, which has been shown to be more predictive than expected data, more predictive than bookies odds. So very powerful model. And I think it's certainly worth paying some attention to that. Before we do move on to the actual predictive points, I've given a little bit of a giveaway there, as you can see. But nevertheless, I'm going to go on to anytime goal scoring odds, which I do think are still an important measure. And again, I'm going to look for game week 1, and as you can see, Salah coming out on top. So according to the bookies, Salah is most likely to score a goal at 52%. I should say these are adjusted bookie odds that take into account the bookies margin. So very useful metric. Interestingly though, Werner coming in at the exact same percentage at 52%. Likely to score a goal, so he's more likely to score than he isn't according to the bookies. Firmino though is one that I wouldn't, you know, necessarily consider for captain, but again, interesting that the bookies are favouring him at 46%. Aubameyang coming in 4th, and the bookies, of course, make a living out of this. So I do think it's interesting that they are favouring Salah over Aubameyang. Mane coming in 5th there with 45%. So that gives you an indication of what the bookies say. If we now switch over to predicted points, and again, just looking at game week 1, which is obviously what we want. Interestingly, Salah coming out way in front there, 7.3 predicted points, according to this massive data model for game week 1, which is very, very high, I should say. You know, if you're on mobile, you might not be able to see this, but nevertheless, looking into the future, that's his highest predicted points over the first 8 game weeks. You know, for me, looking at this, I think it's very, very tempting to go for Mo Salah. Interestingly, Mane coming in 2nd ahead of Aubameyang. Not much in it. Mane coming in with a predicted points of 6.6. Aubameyang coming in with a predicted points of 6.5. So the massive data, the science is going against the Fantasy Football Hub Twitter poll. Which one will win? We'll have to wait and find out. Before we move on to the conclusion and who I'm going to go for in my Game Week 1 captaincy, a cheeky plug for Fantasy Football Hub membership. I've been blown away by the thousands of you that have been signing up, so I'm so grateful for those that have signed up for Hub membership. If you're yet to do it, you can still get 25% off. Only a few days left. The Game Week 1 deadline is the deadline for members to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub and get that 25% off. You get access to this prediction tool, plus loads and loads of other resources. So if you are interested, I'll leave a link in the description and in the information card above. Okay, in conclusion then, and who I'm going to go for, and it's slightly based on these stats, so I thought I would just show them to you. Looking at midfielders then, and I'm going to go for post-lockdown, which was Game Week 30 to Game Week 38. And I've sorted this by shots on target. As you can see, Salah slightly more shots on target than Aubameyang. If you have a look at expected goals, Salah comes out on top. Big chances, Aubameyang comes out on top. Expected assists, Salah comes out on top. So, to be honest, there's not a huge amount to separate these things. Now, one thing I would say, which I do think is very, very important, is that Salah always bosses the numbers. And he doesn't always convert on those numbers. You know, he's not the most clinical of players. He is still clinical, don't get me wrong, you know. He's a very good goal scorer. But when you compare him to someone like Aubameyang, who is more clinical in taking those chances, and you sort of combine that with the fact that Aubameyang has looked better in pre-season, Salah hasn't really done very much in pre-season, then I can certainly see the argument with going for Aubameyang. Taking into account that Liverpool are playing at home, I'm currently leaning towards Salah. I haven't completely made my mind up, so if you see my Game Week 1 team reveal, subscribe so you don't miss it. And I've got Aubameyang as captain. Well, that's because I've changed my mind. I'm not 100% set on it. At the moment, though, I'm currently leaning towards Salah. So there you have it. I'm leaning towards going with this guy in Game Week 1. If you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments who you're going for as captain. Bye for now.